we gotta do this thing twice in a row, which is why you guys are probably gonna have a lot of things down the pipe work because we are almost done with season one. Oh, I'm sad now. I don't want to be done with this show, but stuff happens. After this is just 5 episodes of season one, and then season two, and then who knows what we'll do next. Anywho, welcome back to Cloak and Dagger Weekly, where we now finally got all the stuff fixed. Thank fucking Anywho, we're gonna finally talk about episode 5, Princeton Offense, aka another roundabout of me and Shan being like, the refs are gonna catch these hands because they eat for everyone. We should not do sports films for Riffwave, by the way. We should not do sports films. We would just be trying to fight all the referees.
Who said we're gonna do sports movies? The fuck?
I'm just saying we shouldn't. But back to the thing in hand, because this episode picks up right after all that stuff from Call Response where Tyrone and Tandy are talking again, kinda, sorta, not really. It's like they're trying to ignore what was said to just keep the peace rather than talking about it. That sort of stuff. And also, we have a plot line about O'Reilly, but let's first talk about Tandy, because although this is a kind of mostly Tyrone and O'Reilly episode, Tandy's stuff is a lot more pressing because it's gonna be the forwarding stuff for season 1 as a whole. Take it away, Shan.
Okay, so it's been a while since we've done this, so bear with me. So Tandy, our girl Tandy, she basically ends up going to the school to show Tyrone that she can control her powers. Which, first of all, Tandy, bad idea. Like, we don't do this. Alright? So she's trying to show him. He's like, dude, like, you can't do this here. Like, what are you doing? He ends up walking away from her, leaving her, whatever. And she ends up then breaking into some school lockers, steals like some random cheerleader's clothes, and leaves.
It's not a creepy sex thing. I have to preference this for everyone. It's
No,
not a creepy sex thing. It's not that. They're teenagers, guys. They're teenagers.
get a grip. So she basically just uses these clothes to go undercover, which we learn later on after some Tyrone stuff is happening. But she basically goes undercover and uses like these clothes to like help her go undercover. She like uses a fake name and like she to try to figure out a side quest, if you will, of trying to find this particular guy that she keeps seeing like in all these random people's like hopes at this party that she's at. So now her side quest changes to she needs to figure out who this freaking guy is and figure out like what his hope is and why he's like all of that. Like why is he keep appearing in all of these different people's hopes? Do you want to talk a little bit about Tyrone before I continue?
Yes. So this is another basketball episode. Our favorites apparently in season 1. Me and Shan just love the basketball episodes. Like nothing
No,
ever.
no, no, no. We love the refs because they suck. No.
So apparently Tyrone is all buddy buddy in the eyes of his teammates with his teammates that locked him in that one utility closet that one time. Odds are he probably wishes that he could kill all of them. Odds are he probably could as Cloak, but we're not going to address how Cloak is one step away from being the worst and most powerful supervillain in all of Marvel. Thanos who? Galactus what? No, I'm afraid of Cloak. Anywho, so Tyrone is also approached by Evita, aka the insert love interest, because we're not sure if we want Tyrone and Tandy to be a couple yet, even though it's kind of like on the walls for everyone that Cloak and Dagger might be a thing, might not be, who knows. So he's just like, "What are we?" And she's like, "I don't know. We just made out a couple of times. And then I said you were cute, and I introduced you to my grandma. I don't know what we are." And Tyrone's like, "Huh? What? What?" So they gotta focus on the big game, apparently, for, I guess, finals, where he ends up seeing one of Billy's friends who works in some kind of depot warehouse. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I think they're selling furniture, but all I saw were boxes and furniture and crates. So it might be antiques, it might be furniture, it just might be crates to be sent off for museums. All I know is the crate fucking warehouse. They got crates in the motherfucking warehouse. I don't know what he sells. But anyway, the basketball game. So Ty is just thinking to himself, okay, if I were to just play the game as best as I could, maybe, just maybe, I don't have to hear anyone talking shit. But for some odd reason, the refs seem to be cheating, this time for Tyrone, but it's also kind of like, wait a minute, why the fuck weren't y'all calling the actual problems on the court in the first game that wouldn't have led to this bullshit that we got in the second game? What the fuck you doing, refs? So they might be getting paid off and or bribed. They might not. They're gonna catch an elbow to the face either way because they suck at their fucking job. However, the game itself is going into flux because, as people will be learning in the series, as well as throughout all of Marvel canon, if either Cloak or Dagger overextend in their powers, the other one feels the adverse effects to where they could potentially be dragged into where the other is, or have as a pinpoint to where the other is. In Cloak's case, because Tandy keeps trying to invade the minds of others' hopes, he ends up teleporting to her direction because his powers will be on the fritz from that whole point forward, which is how he learns about the side quest, as well as having Tandy do the dumbest fucking thing to Tyrone, which is to shove him off of a high catwalk platform into a fountain where if he didn't have teleportation powers, he would have snapped his fucking neck. That is yo girl. That is yo girl. That is yo girl.
Yeah, so where I was gonna go with that next, yeah, so with her doing all this magic powers, superhero stuff, um, she ends up managing to get Tyrone to come to the party while he's still in the game. And like Vince said, she basically was like, "Okay, you can go back now." And he's like, "Dude, I don't know how to get back." And literally shoves him off a balcony. Which, first of all, don't do that. Like, I understand you're like, you just need to like have like fear or like whatever it was that she said. But like, don't push him off. You could have killed him. Like what? So he ends up going back to the game. Candy finishes up where she is and leaves. Does some research on the guy that keeps appearing in all these people's like hopes. And we end up finding that the guy's name is Peter Scarborough. Thank you, past self, for writing that name down because I wouldn't have remembered it. And basically, she ends up pretending that her car's broke down in front of his house. So like either needs to like call for help, but he like goes out there to like help her out and stuff with the flat tire that she supposedly has. And she ends up doing this to figure out either A to kill him, but two to figure out like what his hope was. And literally all you see him is in the ocean or wherever he is fishing, and it's all just money.
I think
No
he
fish.
I think he's in a bayou and he's fishing up blood money and killing people that are trying to resurface, if memory
Vince, if
serves.
you're talking to me right now, my Discord is glitching out.
God damn it.
I'll tell you when it's done. Hold on. Mm. Okay, day 2. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was saying, I think it's like he's drowning the survivors while fishing up blood money from the people that he's quote unquote conning and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's all I got. Also, did we mention that the refs at this basketball game actually were like on Tyrone's side?
Yes, we did. So, back to the game. Because Ty apparently faced his fears or whatever the fuck Tandy was talking about, I don't know. I'm still kind of tilted about how she just shoved this man off of a fucking high rise platform. Like, what the fuck, Tandy? Anywho. So he's now looking into the fears of multiple people, where, once again, we have to reiterate Cloak is one step away from being a supervillain that no one can stop. Who the fuck is gonna be trying to touch Cloak and survive? Captain America? He has loads of fears. Bucky Barnes? He's fucked. Who the fuck gonna stop goddamn Tyrone? I can't see a single motherfucker that ain't got no fear. What you gonna say, Groot? What the fuck Groot gonna do against the Dark Force? He gonna get dragged in and wilt and die. This motherfucker crazy. He is scurry. I am afraid. Just the whole shit with his whole Dark Force powers is scurry. That is Tyrone in a nutshell. So, aside
Ooh.
from that repeating segment, he's seeing the fears of multiple people. Like the ref that touches him, he's basically given the fear that if he doesn't call out the shots of the game as a certain thing, he's gonna get beat the fuck up. Why? I don't know. I don't care. He then sees the fears of people that are playing alongside of him, where they're getting beaten, or they're being chased down by dogs, or they're being sent to the military, or they're just a whiny little bastard. All of those things to where when Tyrone is done, he's just like, I'm going to throw the game, because they have fears of just minor problems. I've got elephant shit worries. And so, the school loses the big game, but he ends up getting laid. That is a sentence I just said on the internet. And that's mostly Tyrone's story, but now we got to address the elephant in the room. Mary O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. Hello,
O'Reilly.
part.
So, yes, we start with her basically almost taking back shots in the back of a squad car. That is quite a sentence to say about a tertiary character. How the fuck you gonna be introduced? Well, I'm taking back shots in the back of a squad car.
Yeah,
She,
it was not a theme that I needed.
yeah, but she's investigating stuff from the leads that Tyrone and Tandy have given her over time, which is several different things to address that I do not know how to get into, but it's a thing. It is indeed a thing. So, she's narrowing in on, of course, the vice cop that shot Billy, but it also ties into Ty's story, which I didn't know how to really talk about because it's still weird to really get into. But needless to say, the vice cop is dealing out cocaine, and potentially heroin with a connection deep in the city of New Orleans. That connection is one of Billy's homeboys that runs that warehouse with the crates. I don't know what's in the crates. I don't know if it's furniture. I don't know if it's metalwork. I don't know. Okay? Stop asking me what's in this warehouse. I don't know. So, the reason it's kind of hard to talk about is because it's so intertwined with O'Reilly's plotline that's hard to even get into why it's in Tyrone's plotline, even though it's about the vice cop who is the focal antagonist for Tyrone because of what happened to Billy. But now it's starting to be more of an O'Reilly plotline about the drug stuff in this episode that we can't get into why it's the murder plotline that's for the focal part of the season. So that's why it's weird to talk about, with how O'Reilly does have some experience being a New York cop. It's alleged that if this whole show kept going, it would have kept doing allusions to a potential team up with not just the Runaways that happened after season 2 occurred, but potentially Cloak and Dagger would have been in the Defenders for Netflix to team up with Matt Murdock, Luke Cage, Danny Rand, and Jessica Jones in Hell's Kitchen with the Defenders all in unison. That was potentially a thought process, but we never got that because we're not allowed to have nice things.
Nope.
But all in all, that I think is Princeton Offense, where if you're wondering what our thoughts are for the episode, it's been a hot minute since we've had to watch it, but I will always remember loving it. It's not just the first time I've seen it. I love the whole show in general. That's how I've always felt about this whole series. But for you, Shan, what about you from what you remember?
I remember the episode kind of dragging like away from my like opinions, you know? Like it was a solid episode, but I only remember like little bits and pieces of the game, like the ref and stuff, which is why making notes is good, kids, because then you get a refresher of everything. But yeah, like I just remember it being kind of average for me, you know?
Which is fair. But we're getting ready to start recording the next episode, which is Funhouse Mirrors. So, yeah, guys, you're going to be getting multiple episodes for the next couple of weeks as we gear up for season 2. And maybe, just maybe, we're going to be doing some more stuff that wasn't made by Kevin Feige. Maybe I'm going to get Shan caught up with Netflix's Daredevil that's now Disney Plus's Daredevil. Maybe we'll do Iron Fist, but probably doing it in chronological order of the Defenders saga, because that's how I fucking roll. Anyway, we're going to see you in the next episode. And, well, for you guys, 1 week. For us, a couple of minutes from now.
And soon.